let me talk to you about this. I had some people asking me about this on my Facebook channel. There was an article that came out in January of this year, just, a handful of weeks back now. The title of it is on Fox News. The title of it is Fighter Pilot Chases UFO, Urges World Leaders to Take the Threat of Aliens Seriously. Now, this is not that weird stuff. They've got a video, a classified Navy footage video that somehow he was able to get released. He and one other fighter pilot were assigned to this particular UFO. Now, the word, the acronym UFO just means an unidentified flying object. It doesn't mean it's little green men and spaceships, okay? But when you first say it, we check out this UFO. Military term, I suppose. Unidentified flying object. Go check it out. It's all right. In this case, it was coming near the California coast. And they've got footage of it. And you can go to this article at freedomfriday.carlgallups on facebook.com, and you can watch the video. But let me tell you, the fighter pilot is retired U.S. Navy pilot Commander David Fravor, Fravor. Speaking out, and I'm paraphrasing here a little bit to move it along, speaking out on, really doing some more study on this because he's been involved in this thing, he said. So here's what he says. He's 53, Commander Fravor, 53 years old. Okay, I like these 25-year-old flyboys, and so I'm not being disparaging, but, when you have a 53-year-old commander, Navy fighter pilot, and he's putting his reputation on the line, I mean, you got to kind of listen to this. Fox News is reporting it. It says he was flying one of two fighter jets that were on a routine training mission about 100 miles into the Pacific Ocean off San Diego, okay, when they were diverted to check out an aircraft spotted on radar from their Navy cruiser, the USS Princeton. So see, all this real stuff, this happened. And when you see the video, it's going to be pretty freaky because it does things. And I watched this video, and he's being interviewed on Fox News, and they asked him, said, is there anything in aerodynamics, is there anything in physics, is there anything that we know in the area of military intelligence, stuff that was being worked on, drone technology and all this, do we have anything that can do these things? And he said, absolutely not. This is impossible. Yet you will see the video, and they track this. So they go 100 miles out in the Pacific. They're deployed by the USS Princeton. They're tracking this aircraft. It first appeared at 80,000 feet, hurled down towards the sea, stopping at 20,000 feet, and then hovered about 50 feet over the water where there was a disturbance in the ocean. And then the other side, I'm going to tell you what happened and what it looked like and what they said. Hey, Mike Shoesmith, are you on there? I want you to be on the air with me, even though I'm going to finish up this thing about the UFO, because I want your comments on this too. And you heard my introduction of it, right?
Well, I am actually a licensed private investigator. So let's get to the bottom of this.
That's right. Okay. Well, the only piece of evidence you have is this Fox News report. But this is Commander Fravor, Fravor, U.S. Navy fighter pilot. He's now retired, but this report came out in January, and it's accompanied by a piece of video footage. I don't know how he was able to get that released, but that's been authenticated by Fox News as well. And he's talking about how from the USS, what did I say it was? I can't remember. Oh, the USS Princeton. That's right. The USS Princeton, 100 miles off San Diego. They picked up something on radar. They deployed two fighter jets. Commander Fravor, that's hard to say. I want to say Favor. Commander Fravor was one of the fighter jet pilots sent out there. They go out there, and this object that they were tracking that they didn't have a clue what it was at 80,000 feet, brother. I mean, 3 times higher than, commercial jets fly. And then It hurtled itself towards the sea, stopping at 20,000 feet, and then hovering, and then dropped out of radar, which now they knew that it was right down near the surface. So when Commander Fravor arrived there, Mike, he sees this, what he calls a white aircraft, hovering about 50 feet above the water, and there was a disturbance in the ocean underneath it, but he said that disturbance was not related to the aircraft. In other words, if the aircraft moved, the disturbance was still there. And the aircraft, he went on to describe, had no apparent visible system of propulsion. There were no propellers, there were no jet engines, there were no vents, there was no exhaust coming out. There was nothing that would cause any. It was like a helicopter will do rotor wash, a jet airplane. Sure. You can see the results. A prop airplane 50 feet above the water, it's going to make a mess in the water. You'll see it. But this thing was hovering over a disturbance that was unrelated to the craft. It's like it had come down from 80,000 feet down to the ocean to check out this disturbance. So they fly in there to see it, and listen to what he says. He says it was a clear day, a blue background, sky. It was this thing was perfectly white. This object. He said we didn't see any windows. We saw no form of propulsion, nothing but this big white object. And he said it was just moving randomly around. It was about 40 feet long. He said it looked like a big tic-tac with no wings.
Right.
Okay. He says it was just moving. He says it was rounded on both ends, had kind of a cylinder-shaped body. And then he said I couldn't tell what it was made of. It was just really bright white, and it was reflecting a bunch of light. He said he flew towards it, and then the aircraft began ascending, up from the 50 feet towards him. And then he said it passed him at about 12,000 feet. He said he thinks he got within about a half mile of it, which is pretty close when you're flying a fighter jet. And then he said, I chased the thing. I literally chased the thing, and then it started to mirror us. It was like it became aware we were there. I'm quoting him now. He said, I cut across to see if I could get closer, and it rapidly accelerated and disappeared. He said within a matter of a second, it was gone. And by the way, Mike, I heard him talking, because there's this video, you can see the interview, and then you can see the clip of this stuff that they took. The footage is amazing. And he said, the guy asked him, well, how fast do you think it was when it left? And I can't remember his exact words, but I'm watching a science fiction film about warp speed. He said it just left. It was gone. Just gone. And the guy asked him, said, do we have anything on Earth that can do that? And he said, no, we do not. Nobody does. And anyways, it goes on, and it says, they were asking him, well, what was going through your mind? And he said, quote, I was thinking, this is pretty strange. In 16 years of flying, I've never seen anything like that. And he says, nothing can hover and climb at that rate and then accelerate and just disappear. He said, I was more curious than afraid. I wanted to see how close I could get to it. I wanted to see what it was. And I'm reading this article now, the transcript, but later on in the interview, he actually says, actually, I wanted to fly it. This is a real Navy fighter pilot, right? But anyway, he says that the two fighter jets, they were told to rendezvous about 60 miles away, but then the USS Princeton radioed back and said, look, the mystery aircraft it's turned up again, and it's coming to them. It's coming up before them. So they sent another aircraft out. That aircraft took video of it, a 90-second video, and that's what you're going to see when you go to this site. And Fravor said, it jammed our radar. You couldn't lock it with a conventional radar. You could passively track it and see it, but if you tried to grab a lock on it, it would not allow you to do that. And when it took off, it goes to the side. He said that's a significant amount of distance to travel in a very short period of time. We're talking miles. He said that thing just goes, poof, and in about a second, it's off the side of the screen, the whole radar screen. He said you look at the video of it, there's no exhaust fume, there's no indication of how the thing is moving around, there are no wings, there are no windows, there's no propulsion system. He says having seen a lot of different airplanes, you can always at least hot spots where the exhaust is coming out. He said, I was close enough visually to go, we don't have anything like that. He is insisting that the object was alien in origin. He says, I know what I saw. It was impressive. It had incredible performance. Obviously, I wasn't in a hostile act with it. You'd have your hands full if you were. He said, I don't think humans have that technology. We just don't. Not to do what it did. He said, nor could the human body withstand accelerations like that. He said, it's an incredible technology to be able to go up into space, 80,000 feet, and then back down and hang over the water, and to do that within a matter of seconds. He said, I know what I saw. He said, I know what I saw. There were 3 people that saw it. We've got video footage. And he said, you're going to be hard-pressed to question my credibility and my flying experience. He said, I'm sane, I'm in good health, I don't do drugs. We saw what we saw, and we chased it, and we're the only ones to have gotten that close to it. So anyway, he goes on and on talking about it. He said, we've got to investigate this. He says, there's something going on. All right, I'm going to hush and let you speak. I think I know what it might be, but go ahead.
I don't know what to say about this. I mean, I'm looking at the article now, and one paragraph says that they had actually been tracking up to a dozen of these things, and this was one of the dozen that they were able to make contact. Well, not contact, but they were able to get eyeballs on. Listen, I do a lot of business with the military, both Canadian military and U.S. In fact, I was on a military base yesterday.
I know you do.
And I will just say that this guy is obviously a more credible source than I am. I do business with the military. This guy is in the military flying a fighter jet. I mean, obviously, he's more of an insider than I am.
Yeah.
But I will just say, and I can't go into any detail about how I know what I know or what business I do with the military, but let me just say that people don't know what the military's got going on. They just don't know. I mean, there's things going on out in the desert, Carl, Area 51 and all that. There's things going on there that is so top secret, and there are technologies available to the military, Carl. People don't know. I mean, every now and then we'll see an article pop up that there's a super secret spaceship that they just launched into space.
Yeah.
But nobody ever says what's going on with this spaceship, and why do they have spaceships that are able to circumnavigate the globe for years at a time before coming back for fuel.
Yeah.
I mean, there's stuff going on out there that people just don't know. Even Commander Fravor probably has no idea what's going on.
We don't know what we don't know, right?
Right. So this could be an actual technology. This could be a drone, Carl. That's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't have to be. They now have a drone aircraft carrier. Hello? A drone aircraft carrier?
I saw it.
Yeah, there's nobody on it. There's nobody on this thing.
I know, I saw that article.
Now, even though people can't withstand those kinds of G-forces that he's talking about, there doesn't have to be any people in it.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It could be a high-tech drone. It's the first time people other than the developers have seen it, and it could be something as simple as that, is all I'm saying.
Yes. And when I said I was going to tell you what I think it is, that's where I was going to go. I mean, it could very, I mean, DARPA, they're always years ahead of what we know. I mean, again, we can go to like the thing that we now take so for granted, GPS. Yeah, okay, DARPA invented that. DARPA invented the internet. I mean, they did, and now we use it every day, and all the technology thinking, oh, this is so cool. They invented the internet. Well, who are they? DARPA. Who invented GPS that's in our phones and on our boats and in our aircrafts and aircraft. Aircrafts is not a word. Aircraft. It's in our aircraft. Well, you try doing this live, brother.
No thanks. I have nothing but respect for you.
I tell my congregation that when I'm preaching. I'm up there. I don't preach with notes. I mean, I know what I'm talking about, and I've researched and I've studied and I've done all my word studies. I'm ready to go, but I get up there and I start talking, and every now and then I'll fumble a word, and people kind of snicker, and I just stop and say, well, you get up here and do this, and they all die laughing, because that's people's number one fear. I mean, that people fear public speaking worse than they fear death. I mean, literally,
absolutely,
on every survey, So anyway, back to this.
They would rather be the guy in the coffin than the guy giving the eulogy.
That's right. I mean, the vast majority of people, now not everybody's like that, but the vast majority, survey after survey for decades and decades, that's what they've said. Anyway, back to we digressed a little bit, but the deal is, if in fact it's not human technology, because people are asking me, but is this evidence of, gosh, they are little green men with technology we don't have? Let me just say, listen, you need to read my book, Gods and Thrones, right? Because people who are, what are they called, ufologists? Is that what they're called?
Ufologists, yes.
Or ufologists. I've heard it. Yeah, I've heard it pronounced both ways. Ufologist or ufologist. I mean, bigwigs who've been in this for many decades. These are the people that the History Channel goes to and the Science Channel to make all of their programs on UFOs, etc. These people, I quote these people in my book, after decades and decades and decades of studying real life alien encounters. And when I say real life, I mean they've researched it, and these are, scores and scores of people from around the world that give these deep and detailed descriptions, and they've got witnesses and eyewitnesses. Some of them have footage, etc. So that's what I mean by real life. But they are, several of these people, and I've got them quoted in my book, that are the top experts in this. They're saying, now watch this, Mike, and you've read my book, so you know where I'm going. Yes. Some of these people are saying, we used to think these were little green men from other planets, but now we realize these are true intelligent entities from another dimension,
right,
that have been watching us since the Earth has been here. And they're still watching us. And that goes
does seem to
directly.
make the most amount of sense, right? I mean, these visitations and everything. I mean, think about Jesus. Jesus didn't ascend into heaven.
Right.
He ascended into a cloud, and from the cloud was taken to heaven.
He ascended into another dimension of reality, is what he did.
Exactly.
Like John and Paul, and
we're not allowed to see this dimension, so hence the cloud.
Yeah.
And then the apostles are standing there. Like you see an airplane flying through a cloud bank, and you expect it to come out the other side, and it does.
Yeah.
So the apostles are standing there looking at this cloud bank. Jesus ascends into this cloud. They're staring up at the cloud, waiting for him to come up the top side of the cloud bank. And the angel, why are you looking up? Jesus is not. He's God. He's God, but he will return in like manner.
That's right. And he's not floating around in the cloud, and he didn't come out the other side of the cloud. Well, where did he go? Just through another
portal,
through another dimension, a portal. And I know some people are listening saying that's conspiracy theory. No, go read a book on quantum theory, quantum mechanics, scientifically, that there are multiple dimensions of reality.
Sure.
But anyway, we're getting really deep here. But the point is, Mike. The point is, so if this probably is technology that even that fighter pilot doesn't know about. But even, and we've got video footage, folks, you can go look at it. It's amazing stuff. I mean, this stuff fascinates me. But I don't believe in little green men from other planets, and that we evolved from them and they seeded us and planted us. I mean, no, I believe the Word of God. But the Word of God tells us that there are multiple dimensions of reality. There are intelligent entities, some of them benevolent, some of them malevolent. Is that the word? Malevolent, yeah.
Malevolent?
Yeah, malevolent.
Right.
It's so benevolent and malevolent, and the Bible says there's demonic and there's angelic, and there are multiple dimensions. And I believe, as some of these ufologists believe, who are not Christians, by the way, they're not religious at all, but they're saying after decades of studying this, there's something multidimensional about this. These are entities that are dealing with us. They're watching us. And then one of them said, this is more in line with the Christian tradition of the demonic. And that's in my book too. But anyway, Mike, I'm just weighing in on this. What do you think?
Well, I know we're running long here, but let me just say that I think whenever I see stuff like this, it always comes to mind that this is going to be this is all just one big long con setup.
Yes.
To explain away the rapture.
Yes.
Because, it's going to be like, okay, where did all these millions of people go? We need to, the aliens did it. The aliens did it. Well, we need to start tracking everybody and figuring this out.
Well, and it could also, listen, I'm hearing the music, it could also be attached to the whole Antichrist system and the miracles from the sky and the fire coming down out of the sky. All these things that the Bible talks about. Folks, we're going to take a time out. Mike, when we come back, talk to us about the spiritual aspect of the Super Bowl. There's some stuff still happening there, as well as in Canada, and I'll let you have all that. Let's get out of here so Mike can do that.
That's not LNS though, is it? It's not. That is LNS, dude. Well, if there's like anything, it's rotating.
American Survival Wholesale is proud to sponsor this ministry and their efforts to shed light on the issues that face our nation. As a veteran and Christian-owned and operated company, we support the freedom to express these Christian principles. We all understand the importance of being prepared. After witnessing the devastation of Hurricanes Harvey, Irma, and the wildfires that affected so many, please support this ministry by clicking on the link below and check out the amazing alt media package for our listeners. Plus, if you use the promo code PNN Radio, that's PNN Radio, you will receive free shipping, a savings of up to $200. Just click on the link below, but please do it today. Your support means so much to this channel.